Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 174 for Tuesday, the 1st of August 2023. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag PSNID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
Fuck the ULEZ, global warming is a myth. Nick Fights.
And Sensei Switch. Nothing else to add, really.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Yeah, medium.
Yeah, just medium. Have you had a good week? You been up to much?
Yeah, just working. Stuff like that, the usual stuff.
Working. And that's it, is it?
Well, I played some video games, which is...
Yeah,
good.
you reckon you played some games?
I played 4.
Whoa, no way. Super awesome, mate.
It is.
Cool. All right, well, nice to have you guys here. I know, I think this week's the Patreon week. I'm getting lost in the weeks now. I need to double check, but I think it might be. Yeah, just want to apologise. We're not doing a special this week. Just been so busy, mate. Not really been able to decide on anything, you know. And because it's the summer as well, you know, things are just a little bit like, busy with the kids, summer holidays, doing bits and pieces.
Oh yeah, they started last week, didn't they?
You know, just very busy. So I think what we're going to do is not probably won't do another special till September. So we'll have like just normal podcasts, and then we may have like a couple of weeks summer break from the podcast as well, just to kind of recharge our batteries. So we may do that as well.
The best month of the whole year. Make it come back.
Yes.
What's the best month of the year?
September.
Why?
Quite a few games
Because it
coming out,
starts 9 months of decent, livable weather.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Although, like, I will say this July has probably been the best I can actually remember in recent memory, like, as far as weather goes.
Yeah, I think last year, I had the thing where it come up on like Facebook. Last year, like today was like 40 degrees in Norwich. So I was like, oh, I remember that. That was not comfortable, was it?
No, gaming in the heat is not a nice thing, is it?
Absolutely not.
No.
Trying to do anything in super oppressive heat is not much fun at all, unless you're lazing at the beach or something and trying not to get 3rd degree skin burns or something.
Indeed. So, yeah, I've been doing a little bit of gaming this week. Just dipping in and out of lots of different things. Playing the Steam Deck. Fucking loads, absolutely loads. It's probably become my most used system, just because it's so easy just to pick up and play, which is great. I can just chill out on the sofa, feet up, and play video games, which is fantastic. So apologies, I'm going to be like Sly Almond and probably talk about it a little bit more this episode. But yeah, I don't know what to start off with, really. I just, let's go in the order I've written them down, shall we? So, Formula 1 2023. Obviously, if you're into the F1 season is, well, it is in full swing. We're at the halfway point now. So now we're at the summer break stage. So there was just a race today, the day that we're recording, and now there's a month of summer break from the racing. So it's been full on. It's been fantastic. So I've been really into the F1. So obviously been playing F1 2023 a hell of a lot. I think I've talked about it the last few weeks. I'm not going to go into it too much again, but I can safely say it's the best F1 game that I've played. There's just so many cool game modes, and what I've been doing this week is because they do like a weekly challenge for on the track that the actual race is being held. So this week's was at Spa. So you do your practice sessions, your qualifying, and then there's a race every hour with people on a similar skill level to you. So I've been doing that, and it's been a lot of fun. There's been a few crashes, but for the most part, it's been a lot of fun, quite clean. Doing the different scenarios as well with the actual F1 cars, because basically in this other mode, you have your own car, put your own stickers on it and that, and then as you play the game, you get better parts and it gets quicker and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really enjoying F1 23. I believe it's on sale at the minute. I think it's like 35 quid on CD keys for the Xbox version, which isn't too bad.
When did it come out, or is this like last year's one?
This is this year's one. So this has only been out a few months, about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that old.
No, it's been out about 2 or 3 months, so it's not that old. So I think that's quite a good price, really, for a game that isn't super old, So, yeah, I am looking for people to play it with online, because I'm literally just doing everything on my own. I'm picking it up on the Steam Deck, playing it loads on the deck, and then when I fancy playing it properly, I'll get my wheel out and play it on the PC. It has full cross-play across all platforms as well, which is pretty funky. Yeah, it's kind of like, like how people get really into their FIFA games and buy their FIFA game every year. This is like my version of that, because I'm really into the F1.
Does it have Ultimate Team?
No, it doesn't have Ultimate Team. No, there's not enough play. There's not enough drivers.
Yeah,
I think there's only 20 drivers, right?
They could go back right back to the day and have people like Jackie Stewart and Fangio and people like that. I guess classic drivers of the era, but
yeah.
I think that is good, Webby. That they're bringing it out a lot earlier in the year, because didn't they always used to bring it out really late, like November, December time, when like the F1 season was almost over?
Yeah, see, that's what's threw me out, because a lot of games, like say a football game comes out, it comes out in November, it'll be called like football something 24, even though we're
next
not
year's one
in 24.
Yeah, well, that's when the new football season starts, like August, September.
Yeah,
FIFA comes out in like September, and which is then in theory you can play the games whilst the season's on. But I remember they always used to get, like, if you were lucky, like a month of F1 before it came. I remember one year, I think it was on 360. It came out like the week after the season ended.
Oh right.
So it's like in December, because that's when it normally ends, December in F1.
Yeah, around that time. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, because I've only been playing the games for really the last few years. And the last few years they've been out around April, May time. So seems about right. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. As I say. It's a lot of fun. It's just giving me like it's one of those games, which you don't need to really think. You can just dip in and out of. And to be fair, the reason I've been playing it so much is because of the Steam Deck. Because I've been playing it like just dipping in and doing a race or two just while I'm chilling out on the sofa, Whereas, if I didn't have the Steam Deck, I would literally only been playing it on my PC when I could be asked to get my steering wheel out. So it's definitely making me play it a lot more. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it, just because I'm really into it. So, yeah, F1 23, if you fancy racing with the Webmaster 3000 and losing to the best driver in the world, then feel free to pick it up and give me a race. There is a 5-hour free trial available as well. So even if you fancy just doing that,
it used to be 10, didn't it?
Yes.
I think 5 hours is still plenty of time to make your decision up on a game, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought 10 was quite, because I don't know if they do that with FIFA, but I think for the last, however many years of them doing that, I'll just play for like a couple of hours on the newer FIFA, and I thought that'll do me. So I haven't bought it at all. You get 4 or 5 matches in, you think that'll do.
Yeah.
Still football.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, what they did with these 10-hour trials before though is like for this, like if it was a story mode in a game, they would limit how far you could get to in the story mode. So, say for the F1 game, there's a story mode called Breakpoint, so you'd only be able to get up to a certain point in that, as an example. But yeah, I mean, I was a little bit annoyed. It was only a 5-hour trial, but within that 5 hours, I'd made the decision that I was going to sign up to EA Play Pro anyway, and then just play it that way. So, and then I'm going to make a decision after my EA Play Pro runs out, because obviously I'm really enjoying it. I think it's great. So I probably will end up either carrying on my EA Play Pro subscription or just buying the game. We'll see. But the only thing that's kind of holding me back a little bit is Forza's out in November time. So because I know what happens, a new racing game comes out, and then I just play that instead of the old.
Yeah, the one falls, goes into the pits.
Yeah, that's right, 100%, Darren. Yeah, so that's because really I wasn't gonna get F1 at all, because of Forza, but because obviously the EA Play Pro thing, I thought I'll pick it up and I'll play it because of that. Might be silly not to, really, and it is really good, and it's got the old kind of thing with a lot of games at the minute with dailies and stuff like that, but actually works quite well because it's making me want to play it, because it gives me a reason to jump on and do these certain races to unlock more parts for my car. And I do have the season pass as well, but that's only because it come with the EA Play Pro edition. So it's just another incentive to play it. So yeah, it's good, man. It's really, really good. I've been putting quite a few hours into it, to be honest, just because it's just such an easy pick up and play game. And people say, oh yeah, but it's arcadey and all this sort of shit, and I'm like, yeah, but they've done it quite well, because you can adjust all the difficulty settings, so you can actually make it. I was
going to say there must be a sim mode in the game,
so somewhere. You can turn all the assists off if you want, and play it with the wheel, and it makes it a lot more realistic. It makes it too hard for me because you don't have like any ABS or anything like that, or traction control, so you spin out really easy. You got to like do your throttle control, and changing gears on an F1 car is a pain in the ass because there's so many gears and you're changing them all the fucking time. It gets a bit tiring, so I actually play in automatic mode now just because I can't be asked just flicking the paddles all the time. So you can make it as like realistic or as arcadey as you want, and I think that's really cool because you can adjust the game to how you want to play it. So yeah, really, really positive this year, because last year's one was a bit shit. And they've made some vast improvements. So I'm really, really pleased. So yeah, that's me on. That's one of my games played this week.
Nice.
So Nick.
Yeah, I played a game and I didn't really like it. It's I think it only came out a couple of weeks ago on Game Pass. Was it Exo Primal?
Yes, talk to me.
Yeah, well, that's the game. When they announced it, everyone sort of got excited because it was Capcom, and they thought it was a new Dino Crisis game because they showed off the dinosaurs, and it's not, and it's a mech game, and I played it for a couple of hours. I've uninstalled it already. It was that good, and basically I just went through the tutorial. Was getting bored already, to be honest. I'm not really a lover of the mech games, but I thought, I'll just give it a chance because maybe there's some kind of story to it. It was just a few cutscenes of people talking in between missions. It kind of felt like how the structure of the game, after you get through the tutorial, it was the Division type thing. So like even if you play single player, it's basically chucks AI bots in with you.
Yeah.
So it's like it's supposed to be 4-player multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
You just go through the missions, and you've got like a hub and all the stuff, campaign, all these missions, and you've got dailies and all stuff. I'm like, I just really don't want another game like this.
Yeah.
It's a live service game.
Yeah, another
like
live
designed
service
to keep
game.
you playing.
And I think most people have when it's a game. If you like mech games, you might like it. Then you've obviously had some of the nutters that are like giving it 10 out of 10, saying it's a great, like one of the best games ever made, just to get like attention and things like that. But like I said, I only played it for a few hours and I just got bored. So
I'm very similar with you, Nick. Sorry, because I downloaded it when it come out because I was quite excited for it as well, and I played the tutorial and I was a bit like bit underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, I'll get into a game, and I was just like, this is definitely made for if you've got people to like friends to play it with, 100%. And I've seen on Discord quite a few people have been playing it with their mates, and they're really singing its praises. But like from my point of view, I'm just like, it just feels like an average third-person shooter with not a lot of depth. And yeah, I'm just not sold on it, and I can kind of see why it's gone on to Game Pass. So I kind of had the same feelings as you. I mean, perhaps Nick, we should perhaps jump on it together and see if we have the same opinion.
I mean, we could, or we could play a good game,
like COD.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, we are with COD, but yeah, it's just like I said. I think they've took a normal game which they've always done, and just put this in it. Well, it's also a bit overly complicated because you pick your mech, but you notice it in the tutorial, Webby. You have to like hold these 2 buttons, and then you'll get out and get in a slightly different mech that can attack these enemies. And then if these other enemies turn up, you've got to hold another 2 buttons to get in. Like, this is the fast, quick shooting mech. This is the huge tank mech. This is the gadget mech. And that's just like,
that's why you just generally mix it up with groups of people, and you'd have different people using different mechs for.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point. That's what they were doing. But if you're going to play that solo, I just didn't look at anything at all. And like I say, when I saw all that page is full of stuff, and I was like, oh, you can get your coins to buy all this stuff. And I'm like, no, because I had no coins, and I assumed you could buy real money coins and DLC. And I'm just
definitely. Yeah.
I just thought,
Battle Pass and all that.
But then I'm not into mech games, that I've never really. I suppose the only one I ever played was, like Zone of the Enders.
Yeah.
Years ago, and that was more of like an action mech game, wasn't it, rather than a full-on mech. I don't even know what other mech games. It was Armored Core. That was a mech game.
Yeah, Armored. Yeah, are you looking?
Yeah, I never really played that.
That's out very soon.
Yeah, so that's the only one I ever played and mildly enjoyed. But I mean, if people love mech games, they might give it. It's worth a go, I suppose. But nah, not for me.
Fair enough, mate.
Yep.
There we go. I think we're down to you, Darren.
Well, I might as well bang on about Diablo 4.
Oh, yes.
They recently did they released a patch that pissed everyone off.
I heard about this,
a couple of weeks ago, which basically killed loads of people's builds and stuff. It was a prerequisite patch required for the new sort of season that's now running for the next, we'll say, just over 2.5 months or so, called the Season of the Malignant, which basically sees parts of the world overrun by these malignant pustules and sort of corrupted enemies that you can kill, and then they drop these special hearts that can be socketed into gems, like jewelry, sorry. So the hearts come in 3 different types, and depending on your jewellery, they'll have a certain coloured socket that one will fit in. And they basically give your character extra passives that work on top of legendary sort of like affixes and stuff on your gear as well. It's fun. I've been playing through the season. I think the season pass price was fair. I think it was about £8.50 or something. I think it ends up costing you for the premium pass.
That's not actually that bad.
No, it's not, and it gives you like it lasts for 3 months, so it's not like you literally and you've got to be completely on it non-stop to finish the pass. No, I've played it on and off for about the last week, and I've got to like 37 or 38 out of the 100 rewards. So it won't take super long to obviously go through. So it's mainly sort of cosmetic, armor stuff, and weapon skins and things like that. Which is, it's trivial and stuff, and it will all disappear when the game goes offline, because for some reason they decided to make it an online-only game.
It's a bit like Path of Exile, isn't it? Which is an online-only kind of
sort of, yes.
They've tried to copy it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so many people are apparently looking forward to Path of Exile 2.
Yeah. It looks good, mate. It does look good.
Yeah. It's almost like for the ARPG genre, which is what Diablo is, I think the hardcore people are generally mainly into Path of Exile. Apparently the developers of Path of Exile really go into like the fan feedback, and they know kind of what they're doing, and Diablo is crippled by corporate bullshit, like a lot of games are nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm still having fun with it. It's still kind of frustrating. I will say I have complained before about the fact that you just don't really seem to have access to many abilities in this, because you're only allowed to have, like, was it 6 buttons mapped for moves and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll usually have, like, one of those is your ultimate skill, so that's the button taken up, because they couldn't be bothered to have it just clicking with both thumbsticks or something to activate.
Yeah.
And then you'll have like buff skills, which aren't technically actually moves.
Yeah.
It's just a buff or a debuff. So you're literally limiting your moves down. And I've decided to go as a necromancer in this. So straight out the bat, one of your hotkeys is gone for raised corpse.
Yep.
So that's literally one of your things you can't have, or a button taken away from you, we shall say. Then your kind of class ability later on, as we all know, when you get your classes up to a certain level, I think it's like 15 or 20, 25, somewhere like that, you can go off somewhere and do a mini quest, and you get like a class specialization. So for Barbarian, when you use all the different types of weaponry, you get bonuses depending on the different types of weapon you use. When you get the mastery of that, you can select, regardless of what weapon you use, the certain effect you actually want your weapon to have when you're using it. With Necromancy, you get the Golem. That takes up a hotbar spot as well.
Yeah.
So I literally have 2 fucking moves. Because raised skeletons takes up a thing. Obviously, the Golem does as well. My ultimate skill does. And then I've got my standard move. I've got Bone Splinter or Bone Lance or whatever it is. And then a debuff move. That's it. So I've literally got 2 fucking moves that I literally do. And it's fun, but I just wish they would have things like, if you're a necro, you're going to be raising skeletons anyway. Why the fuck does that need to be on your crossbar or on your hotbar? It should just be, if you're obviously going along and you haven't got the certain node. I get it now, because there is a node there that means if you haven't got minions out, you do more damage.
Right.
But to me, it's still kind of, it just limits the amount of fun and sort of like moves that you've got accessible to yourself.
Yeah.
even just doing things like making your ultimate skill, like clicking your thumbstick or something, it's not hard for them to do that, surely. And then you can set something else there. Because I've literally gone, right, corpse explosion, corpse tendril. There's no point because I haven't really got room for them. So it kind of like completely changed my build and how I was actually going to play the game. But yeah, I'm level 52 now, 51 or 52.
Okay.
So you can skip the campaign if you've already done the campaign and go straight into this new quest line, which involves some Mouldy looking into researching these hearts. You get extra dungeons, which are like malignant dungeons, where as you go through it, the elite mobs you'll face, you'll defeat, and they'll drop some of these hearts that can be socketed. The hearts also give you extra armor, which would be nice if they hadn't basically nerfed the armor by like half its value in the last patch. So every class now is far more squishy than they used to be.
Oh.
And at the end of these dungeons, you can use like these malignant invokers and plug them into like a pustule, which will then spawn like a bigger or better version of an enemy to kill to try and get a better caged heart that you can slot into your gear.
Okay.
One of the other things I will say to the devs, if you actually could, why there's so many fucking suicidal enemies in that game?
Oh yeah, the blowing up fuckers when you kill them.
It does my nut. The amount of enemies at times that are just blowing up all around you. Like, what the fuck is it? Like, that's what actually fucks you up the most in the game, is that crap.
Yeah, it's irritating, yeah.
And that combined with the fact that now everyone's obviously more squishy because they nerfed the armor. They've also nerfed vulnerable damage and crit damage and all the overpowered damage. All the damage that used to actually give good damage. Yeah. They've kind of nerfed it all.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, it was because most people were using those as a build. And it's like, yeah, you had to actually do decent damage, you fucking idiots. Because otherwise you're sitting there like literally button tapping multiple times to kill a normal enemy.
Yeah.
If it takes like 7 or 8 swings with your sword to kill a normal enemy, it's not fun. And you never obviously feel like a power jump. You do later on, obviously, as you get much better legendaries and your build starts to take shape, as it were. So it's almost like the game gets way more fun when you hit level 50 and over. And you get access to your Paragon board, and by then you can start gearing up all your different legendary gear, because before that point, you pick up a legendary at like level 20 or so. Yeah, it's stunning, but you're not going to be running that item for much longer as you start to out-level it. But I will say they're doing an emergency update for it, I believe, this week, which is going to actually buff a lot of the things that were nerfed. Okay. Not back to their default values, but they are going to be improving a lot of things for a lot of classes. So if you wait until the end of this week, come in and log back in, you'll probably find your characters are doing a lot more damage, etc.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I still love the overall aesthetic and look and feel of the world and everything in the game. They like nailed that aspect, I think.
Yeah.
Like the
I need to jump back on it, man, horrible, to be honest.
Yeah. Sort of like muddiness and like the rain coming down and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've made a new character, but I just got a little bit annoyed because you start a new game with a new character and none of the maps unlocked. You have to like discover it all again. I just find that a little bit annoying.
Yeah, well, before this one, what you actually had to do is after they'd uploaded the patch for the new season, on the day after the patch went live, not before the season went live, they basically asked everyone, like, log in your character that you were originally playing the game with first, just so our servers know what altars of Lilith you've uncovered and how much of the area of the map you've uncovered, because that will actually carry over onto your seasonal character.
Right.
So the renown doesn't, although it did for certain areas. So when I started, I had like the first 2 renowned bonuses for each zone unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to work to get the 3rd one. Plus, I think you only have access to the major city-states to teleport to, and you have to go off and unlock the others, like by going to them and opening them. But you do that for the renown anyway, so it's honestly not too bad. I know a lot of people are moaning about the renown farming and having to do all that again, but I'll just use it as a bonus XP while I'm killing mobs trying to level up.
Yeah, I mean, I never found all the Altars of Lilith with my original character, so I think I might need to go and do that before I properly play my second character.
I mean, it's not too bad. There are maps out there, like you can find most of them pretty easy. I'd say the harder ones are probably the ones in the PvP areas, but I must admit, when I ran through those to quickly pick them up, there wasn't really anyone in there being an idiot. In fact, I didn't really see anyone in the PvP areas, to be honest. And there's a couple in strongholds, which are obviously the areas of the game which is kind of more group orientated, I'd say, because everything's like always 2 levels above you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I'd say it's worth checking out anyway. I mean, I played a little bit of Seasons on Diablo 3, but it literally was just playing it for a little bit. Like, as far as I'm aware, there wasn't a battle pass. I think it was just kind of in-game challenges that you'd complete, and then that would unlock like a backpack trophy or something weird for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a free tier to the battle pass. But I will say, Webby, one thing you've got to be careful about.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, you got the Uber Mech edition or whatever the fuck
which is why I should be playing it a bit more.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to jump on it now.
Yeah, which came with the thing. But a lot of people are saying, if you go in to look at the battle pass, some button prompt is coming up wrong, and people are accepting their free token for that season.
Right.
Where technically you don't have to. Some people are leaving it for another season, but they were kind of like, well, I pushed the button to check something, and it automatically kind of redeemed it, and it didn't let me know it was redeeming it.
Ah, right. To listen to the rest of this week's awesome episode, you need to subscribe to the Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com/360gamercast. There you can sign up from as little as £5 a month and get access to all our previous released episodes, and you'll also get access to this episode, which is over 2.5 hours long. So to subscribe, head on over to patreon.com/360gamercast.